Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Pageant, the musical comedy beauty contest, is back in New York at the Davenport Theatre, and I caught up with the company on opening night.
Stay that way, and remember, beauty lives at BroadwayWorld.
So congratulations, it's opening night. You have brought Pageant back to New York. How do you feel tonight?
Great. I'm very proud of this team. Shea Sullivan, our amazing choreographer, has been a friend of mine for years. We've worked together as director-choreographer a few times. Bill Russell and I have been friends for so long. We've worked, I directed Last Smoker in America, and I did a production of Sideshow back in college. That's how we met. He and I are such great friends, so I'm so proud of this whole production, the whole creative team, the cast. Matt Lenz has done great work. It's really just a blast. You know, it's so different. I'm going to admit I was 9 when it was on in 1991, and it was risque then. It's not risque now. It's actually rather PG, but it's just so fun and so smartly written, and the characterizations are so smart, but so silly. I mean, you can just come and have 85 minutes of a good time, but they are really well-defined characters, which lets these actors dive into so much meaty material. And once the audience knows what they're in for, they're just... Pageant is what it is. It is an evening that is a pageant. It's not a drag act. It is a campy, fun drag show for, we have bachelorette groups, tons of audiences of straight men, gay men, women, children. I mean, it's really for everyone, and it's just a lot of fun, and I'm so proud of this cast, especially John Bolton, who joined us late in the game and was such a huge savior and an asset to us. I worked with him on Last Smoker in America, and he's one of my favorite collaborators, just such a smart, funny comedian, and just a pleasure to be around. And everyone who's worked so hard on this, the design, I mean, the costumes for a show like this, and what we're able to do in this theater with the scenic design even, it's really been a blast. And everyone, the whole creative team has been extraordinary.
So when the cast took their bow tonight and the entire audience was on their feet, what was going through your mind?
I was just thrilled. I mean, that I can, it's been a crazy, quick, and raucous ride, so that I can sit back. This was my first time actually sitting for the whole show as an audience member and enjoying being able to sit in my chair as opposed to standing in the back wondering what I need to deal with. So it was a blast to just sit there and go, wow, I'm a part of this audience that is enjoying this and really excited by this. And we're adding Saturday night performances, which I'm so excited by. We've been doing Sundays and Mondays, and it's been catching on and selling out in previews. Nothing sells out in previews, and it's been selling out in previews, and we're so thrilled. And now to be open, and the response has been fantastic, and that it's reaching such a broad audience and really becoming this kind of summer cult hit is really exciting for us. And I'm so proud of the team, especially Shea, who has spent years developing this. She comes from the pageant world, and this was her idea to bring this back. And she went to Bill Russell, who I've known, and said, we have to do this. And Bill was so on board, and his writing partners and their agent and everyone has been so supportive. And it's time, and it's so great that it's coming back, and Sideshow's coming back. Bill's having an incredible year, and I'm so happy for him too. So I'm just glad to be working with such amazing friends and collaborators on something that means a lot to everyone, and we're having fun. That's what it's about.
I love this purple and your tiara.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Welcome back to New York with Pageant. How do you feel?
Thrilled. What a wonderful company, and we had such an exciting audience tonight. It was really fun. Yeah.
What kind of memories has this brought back? I remember sitting at the Blue Angel like
yes.
4 and 5 times. What has it been like for you bringing this back?
Well, you know, I've directed several productions over the years in London, in LA, in Boston. I mean, all over, and so every time we revisit this show with a new cast, it's always so thrilling. And Matt Lenz has done such a great job directing this production. I couldn't be happier.
Take me back to the beginning of how you came about to write Pageant originally.
Well, Bobby Longbottom, the original director, and several of the original cast had been touring in 42nd Street in the National Company for a couple of years, and they were bored, and they decided to do a pageant for their company members. And Bobby called me and told me about it, and he said, we filmed it, and I want to send you the video. And I said, great. He said, because I think it could be a show. And I actually at the time thought, gee, I'm not really that into drag, and I think beauty pageants have been satirized a lot. But he sent the video, and I was just laughing my ass off, because these were all Broadway gypsies who are so much more talented than most pageant contestants, and that was very thrown together. And then I brought in Frank Kelly and Albert Evans, and collectively, the four of us, made it what it is today.
Wonderful cast. I mean, was it tough
fabulous?
finding everybody? Matt said you looked long and hard.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's a challenge to cast this show, because they really do have to be triple threats. They have to sing, dance, and act, and hold stage like a stand-up comedian, you know? They're out there alone by themselves, and so I'm thrilled with this group.
What gives you the most enjoyment with this new production of Pageant?
Oh, gee, well, you know, Stephen Urich's costumes are so amazing. He's 33 Miss Americas have worn his gowns, and some of those gowns are here on our stage, so that thrills me. I just love the whole look of it, and I just love the whole spirit of it. It's really such a fun night.
Congratulations. It's opening night. How do you feel tonight?
Well, it's been crazy, Richie. They called me about not quite 2 weeks ago to say, would you do this? And so I was in San Francisco doing a show, and I flew home, and I had 2 days of rehearsal, and then I met the cast last Sunday and had a couple hours with them, and all of a sudden we were doing the show. So it's been a little whirlwindy, but I'm really having a great time. I love my girls, and it's just a blast.
And what is it like playing him? Because this is a throwback to the Gene Rayburns, the Wing Martindales, the Bob Barkers, the Burt Parks.
You have said it all, Richie. That is exactly right. Those are all the people that I have thought of while trying to put this together quickly. Gene Rayburn, in particular, became a dear friend when I worked with him many years ago, and it's just a blast to get to be Mr. Congenial host, but with a little extra cheese factor to it, which I'm really enjoying finding. This is I think you just saw my only fourth performance, so I'm still figuring it out because it's been kind of crazy, but it's just a blast to get to do this.
And the audience loves this show.
They have a blast. You know, I saw this show in 1991, which was not a short time ago, and I have such vivid memories of that amazing original cast and direction and choreography. And when they sent me the script a week and a half ago, it was just trying to remember. All these great memories came back to me of that great original production, and I thought, I love this show so much. It's so well written. Let's do it. Why not? It'll be terrifying to be thrown literally to the lions in 2 days, but why not? So I'm enjoying every second.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience with working on Pageant, what is it for you?
Watching these girls. My job is to serve these girls on a silver platter, and I get to stand in the wings and watch these amazing girls be brilliant. I also love the audience factor, that every night is different, because every night has a different judges and different winners and different, we ad lib and play around a little bit. So two things: watching the girls and each audience being different.
Matt, it's opening night, a beautiful night tonight. How do you feel?
Oh my God, fantastic! What a delight! How great to 20 years later see the show in New York, show that I loved so much, 2 decades ago, come to life again with such an amazing cast and my friends, and I'm thrilled.
How did this all come about for you to direct?
Shay Sullivan asked me to come on board, and I said, I couldn't say yes fast enough. I had such wonderful memories from the show, from in '91 that I only hoped that I wouldn't screw it up when we came back. That I wouldn't disappoint anybody's memories of the show.
You did a gorgeous job directing the show, and the cast is wonderful. Was it hard to find this group of guys to play girls?
Well, you know what? We looked and looked and looked and looked. We had tons of guys, amazingly talented people come in. But we really, wanted really individual comic actors for each of these individual roles, and I think we found them.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with them.
And having the creative team around, having Bill Russell around, what that's been like working with him?
Fantastic. I mean, Bill has been so supportive since the beginning, in the right ways too. They've been supportive without being smothering, helpful. Where do we want to update and tweak a little bit? But the interesting thing that we all discovered is that pageants have a sort of timeless, traditional quality. So when we got into it, most of it was very much timeless, of the moment, so we didn't need to rewrite or do too much to make it, to bring it up to date. Although they've tweaked, and John Bolton's certainly thrown in a few zingers that have helped, and all of that. But it's been a delight, and Frank Kelly's been around a lot, and so it's just been a delight from the beginning. So,
if you could sum up the best part of the experience with working on this show, what is it for you, Matt? Gosh, laughing all over again. And tonight I sat in the audience for the first time since rehearsals, really, and I laughed at this writing all over again. The hardest thing as a director is to make something funny when it's not funny on the page. When it's funny on the page, all you got to do is just deliver it. You just got to, make sure that it's being put out there in a clear, concise, innocent, honest way. And so that was my job on this. So here we are, guys. It's opening night. You were the two newbies in the show, right?
Yeah.
We were, yeah.
We were.
We are.
It's interesting. Because they did a benefit earlier this year in February, and when we began this process, Nick and I had rehearsal together as the two new people, and we were quite nervous because we had 4 days of rehearsal to put this together.
Right.
And by 4 days, I mean in those 4 days, it was like 2 hours one day, 3 hours the next day, 30 minutes the third, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's been incredible. It's
Yeah.
been incredible.
Curtis has been amazing. He has kept me laughing. He told me that was his goal from day one, and it has really helped us a lot. Yeah.
So let's talk about the roles that you play, what you love about her and what you love about her.
Sure. So I play Miss Industrial Northeast, Consuela Manuela Rafaela Lopez, and I am from Southern California. So a lot of my friends growing up were Latin, and I grew up watching Miss Universe pageants with my best friend, and I always found myself rooting for the Latin American gals, and so it's been fun to sort of bring that to the character. She's obviously English is not her first language, and so it's fun to sort of just check out and just look at the cameras and smile pretty, not really knowing what's going on stage around me,
And yours.
I love that Ruth Ann Ruth, Miss Bible Belt, has Jesus sitting on one side of her shoulder and Satan on the other, and they're dueling, and you don't know how the war is going to turn out, who the victorious person is going to be, but there's comedy in that, and she's struggling.
Now, mishaps that have happened on stage with your characters, tell me.
Oh wow! Well, the accordion is always a gem. It's a pleasure. I never know if I'm gonna hit the right chords, and sort of it just and there's no turning back after you expand the accordion. The notes are coming out, so you just have to go with God and just enjoy it.
Yes.
Right?
Go with God.
Go with God.
And your mishaps.
My mishaps are too many tonight. The interesting thing is that my mishap is something I'm feeling, and this is PG-13. But during the up-tempo number where we're doing our exercise and we're in bathing suits and we're tucked, can I say that? We're tucked. Things untuck all on their own, and it's uncomfortable.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Yeah, it's terrible. It's
If you
terrible.
could sum up the best part of the experience of working on this show, what is it for each of you?
Meeting this cast, working with this director, choreographer, Lael, the assistant choreographer, they have just been a gem to both me and Curtis, really helping us out, and just feels like a very supportive family. Yeah.
It's absolutely true, and I will agree with that. You know, we are the new people, you know, including John Bolton, who's genius. And without this creative team and creating this supportive environment, there's no way in the world we could have done this with this amount of time. And it's worked, and we're having a blast. And so I give it up to them because they're wonderful people. Wonderful.
Have the best time, guys. You were the best. So here we are. So it's opening night. How do you guys feel tonight?
Super excited. It's a dream come true for a long time, so I'm happy to be here.
Me too. No, it was a great night.
Did you two do the benefit together
We did
first?
together, yes.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
That's where our relationship sparked.
Yes, the underdog contestants
Yes,
met
we are.
on that stage.
You two are the underdogs.
We are. We have very similar responses during the show that I feel like we talk to each other backstage and we say things like, how you feel, like you know, the audiences either like us
Is it not our show?
or like us less.
Now talk about what you love about playing these two girls that you play.
Well, I think, okay, so she's the most unqualified of everyone. I do feel like she didn't win or place, and she's here just having the best day of her life. And so that's all she's doing the best with what she's given.
I love just taking everything in because she's constantly just like not sure what's going to happen next or excited about what just happened, and it's always really fresh to her, you know?
Okay, now mishaps on stage with your characters. Tell me what's gone wrong.
Haha, you go first.
Well, for one, my character in general just messes up everything. She tries so hard, and that's sort of what does her in, and, you know, she doesn't really understand what the rules are. she's there to smile and just, like, try her best.
But stuff that has fallen apart of your character on stage.
Well,
what have you lost?
You guys, I had the
lashes.
worst. I had the worst thing happen during the February run, and it was a private boy part that came out during the bathing suit section on production photo evening when they were taking the photos. So in all the pictures I go, that's my...
look for it, but it's there.
So things...
Airbrush or what do they do?
I don't know where those pictures ended up. I got a little, like, don't use that one.
Yeah, no. Well, for me, it's just eyelashes. I'm the only one who uses top and bottom lashes. So every time I come back, it's like something's hanging down here or something's all the way up. And I'm like, okay, well, this one can go. I don't need 4 of them, right?
The messy contestant.
Yes. Yeah. She's a mess.
Okay, if you could sum up the best part of the experience of working on Pageant, what is it for each of you?
Oh, for me, it's how game everybody is. I think the cast and the audiences are just so game. So I feel like you can't really do Pageant unless everyone is really willing to play the game, and the game is so much fun. And then the audience just adds that extra bonus layer that makes it even better.
My favorite part is definitely backstage. It's a whole different show, an even more interesting show backstage. It's just crazy stripping, tucking, and screaming, but silent screams, and laughing.
Lightning flash.
Oh, and just laughing. We're
everyone's
constantly
always laughing.
cracking each other up from stage to off stage.
It's opening night. How do you feel tonight?
I feel fantastic. It's amazing. It's such a good show. Everyone's hilarious in it, and I can't believe I get to be a part of it. It's amazing.
What is your prep work like? How long does it take you to get ready? You're so beautiful up there.
Oh, stop it. No, prep work, we have about an hour to do makeup. I take a little extra time, so I come in at an hour and a half. You know, it's hard to cover up the man bones with, you know, you got to use the heavy duty stuff because, as they say, cover girl, don't cover boy. So, you know.
Do you use the spackle that they advertise in the show?
Spackle, you know, some spray paint, like in Death Becomes Her, you know, just do all that. I would take the potion. Would you take the potion?
Oh, totally.
I think everybody would take the potion, so yeah.
How much fun is she to play?
Kitty Bob Ames is so fun to play because she's the girl who's been doing it her whole life. She was, you know, Honey Boo Boo at 6 years old doing it, and then she became Miss Teen Texas, and then she's now this big glamorous contest winner or hopeful winner. But she thinks she's going to win with everything because she has won everything her whole life. So it's great to play that confident, like, pageant queen role. Absolutely.
Let's talk about mishaps on stage during maybe your number, or what's gone wrong.
Well, I do have to set up my jump rope right before the whole talent happens because I'm doing everything. I'm tap dancing, sharpshooting, jump roping. Everything's happening, and it's everything but the kitchen sink. We tried to add the kitchen sink, but we didn't have the budget, so it was okay. But my jump rope got knotted at one point, so I had to spend half of the jump rope time unknotting the jump rope, and the jump rope didn't happen. So I did not win that night, safe to say.
That would have happened in a pageant.
You gotta just keep smiling. Like, that's the thing. When something goes wrong, if you keep smiling, the judges might be looking down at that time, like trying to write, oh, that was really great. And then they look up again and you're doing it flawlessly. So you just have to keep going and smiling. And then they're like, oh, I didn't miss anything. You're still doing good. So, yeah.
And working with the cast.
The cast is hilarious. Miss West Coast is probably my favorite part of the show. Her spokesmodel with the Snap and Fresh, he does it so flawlessly. When we saw it in rehearsals originally, all of us were in tears. It was insane. Like, he's so amazing. Yeah.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience of working on pageant, what is it for you?
Glitter.
Well, take me back to the beginning for you, how this all came about for you.
I saw the show originally in the early 90s. I was a little younger than I am now, but in 2008, Bill Russell, the writer, asked me to choreograph a production he was doing outside of Boston. I went, I choreographed the show, I fell in love with the show, and at that point I knew that I needed to have a hand in bringing it back to New York. And so I inquired about how that could happen. I hired a lawyer, I got my agent, looked into the rights, and here we are.
Let's put on a show. Let's come to New York.
I think, looking back, I really feel like I was like that kid. To be like, it could go on Broadway. We're going to go tomorrow. And I was so confident in it. And I'm still as confident now. It's been a journey, but I've stuck with it all the way. And here we are. I'm as excited about it now as I was in 2008. So.
You've done such a beautiful job choreographing for each and every lady up there. Who was the easiest to choreograph for, and who was the hardest?
I think Texas was the easiest, and mostly because of my background in the pageant world, and being that, like, that is kind of what I do. That kitchen sink, like, let's find all the talents and put it into one. So Texas was kind of the easiest. I think the hardest was probably Miss Industrial Northeast, the accordion. Because it's so specific, and there's a fine line that you can walk with that. And Nick is so talented; he's such a great actor. But it's to show that contestant in their best light with the accordion, which is hard. I mean, can you play the accordion? I know I can't. Yeah.
So tonight, when they were taking their bow on stage and the audience was standing on their feet, loving this, what was going through your mind?
Excitement and just pride, a lot of pride. I feel great about what we all have accomplished together. So.
You've done such a beautiful job. You're working with your director, Matt Lenz. That's been a real pleasure, hasn't it?
Great. It's been an amazing collaboration. I mean, Matt and I, from the first meeting that we took about the show, just kind of have the same kind of vision about it. And we've been through a lot. He has been by my side the whole time, and it's been a wonderful collaboration. So it's an exciting journey to see through with him.